Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. Today I'm going to show you how I get into the mood. I'm going to show you how I personally self-seduce, how I put myself into a feminine space, how I make my pilgrimage into the night. This is my way of doing it. My methods take the form that they do because of how I view femininity. I see the feminine from the vantage point of darkness and ambiguity. The feminine for me represents chaos and the unknown. I try not to focus on the chaos part too much because that aspect has led many men and women to extreme ends of worship, the full-on embodiment of Mother Nature's cruelty. Instead, I like to meditate on the void, get lost in the elegance of the vastness of the abyss. There are 4 methods that I recommend to help you get lost, to lead you into that dark province. Self-seduction, as you saw in the intro, is about leading astray. And that's what I want to do to you here. Have you sink your teeth deep into the knot in my rope and take you away from an absurd reality and into your mind. The first way to do this, the first method to do this is through music. Music is of the feminine realm because it involves feeling rather than perceiving. You lose yourself in music. You forget who you are or where you are. Music is intoxicating and mood altering. With the right melody, you can put yourself into a kind of trance-like state. In Dionysian cults of extreme worship of the feminine in its chaotic and regressive form, emphasis was on music and drunkenness. As music can enact the same kind of euphoric feeling and dissociation caused by alcohol, they are kind of one and the same. Also, let me know if you guys want a video on Dionysian cults. It's a very, very fascinating topic. Now below, I'm going to link a Spotify playlist that I'm going to make for you guys, and I'm going to name it The Void. The link will be below. This kind of music is the kind of music that I honestly listen to all the time because I personally just like it. But it also serves a purpose too, if need be. This playlist consists of very atmospheric, down-tempo, shoegazy, dream pop, synthy nonsense. The good kind of nonsense. A lot of the music is in minor tones, tones that kind of pull you downward, I feel. They don't lift your spirits. A lot of people, whenever they listen to minor tones, it makes them feel sad or unsure or uneasy, but this is kind of where the beauty of that feeling of the unknown lies. From these notes, from the pulling downward. These kinds of minor tones are often the key to very atmospheric music. Now, when you listen to this playlist, I really want you to kind of conjure an image in your mind, and I'm going to help you a little bit. I want you to think of yourself in a room that's obscured by something, whether it's smoke, blindness, water droplets lingering in the air, the faintest vignette of light, giving partial spatial awareness. I want you to feel colors. Colors like indigo, onyx, amber, Prussian blue, pewter, and mauve. Think of glass and liquid mercury and abalone. Think on the sensuality of reflective surfaces, transforming harsh light into confusing and deceptive pigments. I want you to kind of drown in these images. Feel their mass. Roll your eyes into the back of your head. Forget how to talk. Forget how to be human. If you choose not to listen to that music, I believe the sounds of the ocean would definitely do it, but listen to it at night or in a dark room. Ocean sounds, quite obviously, women are associated with the ocean, and I think being in a dark environment and listening to the waves or the sound of water can really kind of put you into that trance-like state as well. And I think that there's just a general kind of peace that you can gain from listening to the sounds of nature. The second thing is Anais Nin. Read Anais Nin. Honestly, what can I say of this woman? She is the only female writer that has been able to adequately transcribe the archaic mystique of femininity, pure femininity. To think that this woman ever inhabited a human body is preposterous. And if she did, I feel like it was only because she wanted to feel the human experience one last time. And if I'm including her here as one of the methods, as one of the ways to kind of enter the void, then her writing is everything that you would expect it to be. Serpentine, floral, soft. All of her writing, kind of just the way that she writes, her style of writing, all of it just sounds like it's just floating in the air and echoing like organ music in an enormous church, especially in the poem that I'm going to mention. With each metaphor, each euphemism kind of rises this cloud of smoke. In my opinion, there's no better prose to get you into the mood, to put you into this kind of space, this mental space, the feminine mindset. So the poem that I specifically am recommending is called House of Incest, and I know that that sounds off-putting, but it is one of the most beautiful pieces of writing that I've ever read in my entire life. It's a prose poem. It's about 72 pages long, and it is well worth reading it, despite the title being so jarring. A portion of it I'm going to read here in this video, and if you happen to like the sound of my voice, feel free to play it for yourself whenever you want to get into this mood. However, I recommend, if you have Audible, House of Incest is on Audible, and the woman, the narrator, is breathy and she does a great job reading the text. Her voice is absolutely perfect for the poem. So on there you can listen to the entire poem if you choose. The excerpt I will now read comes from the first few pages of the poem. My first vision of earth was water veiled. I am of the race of men and women who see all things through this curtain of sea, and my eyes are the color of water. I looked with chameleon eyes upon the changing face of the world, looked with anonymous vision upon my uncompleted self. I remember my first birth in water. All around me the sulphurous transparency, and my bones move as if made of rubber. I sway and float and stand on boneless toes, listening for distant sounds, sounds beyond the reach of human ears, see things beyond the reach of human eyes, born full of memories, of the bells of the Atlantide, always listening for lost sounds and searching for lost colors, standing forever on the threshold like one troubled with memories, and walking with a swimming stride. I cut the air with wide slicing fins and swim through wall-less rooms, ejected from a paradise of soundlessness, cathedrals wavering at the passage of a body like soundless music. The imagery in this passage alone is just so overtly feminine. We are awakening as a blind, half-developed entity kind of cradled in the ocean. The home of femininity, nature's womb. As we all know, and as Anais talks about vaguely, in the beginning of the world there was chaos. The earth, a black pearl of tumultuous waves and clouded gray sky. We are born in the middle of it, like a grain of sand that the pearl surrounds. There is nothing but lingering memories from lifetimes ago, just muscle memory that reminds us that we once breathed air and grasped for the flesh of another. We are led entirely by some kind of distant memory, and we sway with each shifting current. This is just a tiny bit of what we get from this very small collection of stanzas. Very dark and very disorienting. That's how all of her writing is, except with the exception of her diaries, but even then, the way that Anais lives her life, it's disorienting, and you can't really tell the difference between truth and lies with her. And that's how she wanted to keep it. And I remember reading this poem for the first time. I felt like I was kind of occupying two places at once. It was where I was, which was actually at work in the morning when I was listening to this on Audible, and at the same time in this kind of inscrutable kingdom that Anais brought me to. The feeling that that gave me, I was listening to the audiobook for about an hour that morning. The feeling that it gave me didn't wear off for hours. That is how powerful her writing is. My eyes were just completely clouded over, it seemed. It was lovely. The third thing that I encourage every woman to do is to moonbathe. Now, I know that sounds weird, but I I can't tell you how special it is. And I also don't think I have to tell you what the moon's association with femininity is. During the full moon, which is best, or whenever the moon is almost full, if it's a gibbous moon, go out and just sit underneath the moonlight. And if you are so daring, I would say do it nude. You will see kind of how beautiful and flattering the violet light is on your skin, and you can feel the softness of the light. That feeling alone is very special, just kind of looking at your body in this very, very beautiful, dim kind of lighting. The moon's light is very, very, very bright at the same time. It completely illuminates everything. I myself am very lucky that I live near the beach, and I am able to drive out to the beach, and I'm able to go out onto the sand by the ocean. I'm able to look at the moon reflect off of the water, and that is truly a sight to see. That just being able to just lay out a towel, lay on the sand, or just kind of sit out maybe in a chair if you'd like, just literally bathe in that feeling, just the silence of not being around people and of being kind of accompanied by the moon. It really feels like you're living on an opposite side of the world in a different kind of dimension. That feeling is so elegant. I like to use that word, elegant. I remember some time ago I was able to do this at Bahia Honda in the Keys, in the Florida Keys. The water is shallow and very, very clear, and the sand is white and very fine. And the sun went down, and I just sat in the water. The water is warm, and the moon rose up, and that feeling is unlike anything else. You just don't feel like anyone else exists, because it's so strange to do that. Who really sits out in the moonlight? But it's weird because you're invigorated, but you're also calm at the same time. It's this beautiful equilibrium that you reach. There's a contentment in doing that. I can't explain to you this any more than women have had association with the moon for since we were able to write down any of our beliefs, and even before. There's something just intrinsic about laying out in the moonlight, like you're complete in a way. It'll put you into a quiet kind of contentment, an inner contentment, that kind of space, and into the kind of void because you're not disturbed by anything. The fourth thing, in kind of the same vein, is doing a night drive. I do this probably the most frequently. I drive and I kind of park and listen to one of my favorite soundtracks from a movie. It's called Only Lovers Left Alive. And if you haven't watched that movie, or if you haven't listened to that soundtrack, you need to drop everything and just watch the movie and listen to the music from that movie. It is very, very old world kind of music, a lot of lute music. And the specific song that I listen to, which I'll put it in the Void playlist, is called Sola Grata Part 2. So I guess I'll just say it. So the movie is about two vampires, and whenever they drink blood, it's represented in the movie very much like heroin. And so they're preparing everything. It's very ritualistic. They're preparing the serving of blood because it's three different vignettes of three different characters. And this song plays, and then whenever they drink the blood and they kind of go into this absolute euphoric stupor and they kind of fall backward, there's this kind of like, you can almost like feel the weight of this drug-like effect. But I will listen to that song on repeat whenever I'm doing a night drive. But oftentimes I'll listen to music, I'll listen to an audiobook. Usually the moon will be out. I prefer that. There's a spot that I go where it's right by the water. And I kind of just get into the passenger seat and I kind of stick my feet out the window and I just kind of relax and sit there and just let the night take me away. I've said in other videos before that I love the nighttime. I always have. I've always felt like it has cradled me. I do not feel like I have to be anyone, do anything. I abide by my own rules in the nighttime. Whether or not people realize it, everyone has this feeling. Just think of like nightlife, how people act at night versus during the day. during the day you have all these obligations and whatnot, and at night it's time to let loose. It always has been like that. So those are the 4 things that I think will do it for you. I think they'll get you into the mood. They'll put you into that mental space. And I think this is good for both men and women, but this is specifically geared towards women. Embracing this femininity, this kind of unknown, is extremely important for peace of mind and to learn self-reliance, to just appreciate the beauty of something as simple as the color of the moonlight. A lot of these rituals that I do are really about calming the mind, about kind of bringing you back to home base. And I think we all can learn from that, especially self-seduction, femininity. It's important as a woman to kind of let the night cloak you and to always keep people guessing and for people to always find out something new about you. That's the lust for life. That's what keeps us going, I think. All right. I hope you guys like this video. Please leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this video. Oh, turn on the bell for notifications, of course. Tell your friends. And I will see you guys next week. Goodbye.